Let's start with what are the abundance archetypes. So the abundance archetypes are like the bridge between the Jungian archetypes and the brand archetypes. So the brand archetypes are 12 archetypes. The brand archetypes are all about how you show yourself, how you present yourself in the world, and how you translate your message into your brand. Then the Jungian archetypes are all about you. It's about your depth, your psychological depth. And so the brand archetypes are not about the person who is holding the brand, like the name holder of the brand, and the Jungian archetypes have nothing to do with business whatsoever. So I mix them because after working with the brand archetypes for a really long time, I noticed that they didn't work for my kind of people. They work for larger businesses maybe, who can just say, we want this, and this is where we're going, and with a really clear perspective of where they want to go. But they don't work for, in my opinion, my humble opinion, they don't work for smaller, for solo businesses, for smaller businesses that are, especially not when it's a business that is being run or led by a woman who is not always in alignment with her goals or with her genius, because she's fallen. She doesn't fit the normal you start here and then you end there way of working that we see everywhere in the land of making money for yourself. So what the abundance archetypes do is that they show you a reflection of who you really are, like your gold, your genius. And after having I tried to come up with a system that helps my clients to better understand their gold, like the thing that makes them completely and utterly and totally different from all the other people. And I couldn't make it work because what I did was I approached it from a mental perspective. Like, you need to think yourself out of something that you can't feel. So when I say gold, or your genius, is your genius is the thing that you're so freaking good at that you cannot see it as something that is your gold, that is completely unique, and you're the only one who can do that. So that means it's a combination of your presence. It's like who you are, how you show up in the world, and your innate skills, the things that you're just really, really good at, and the way you are, basically. And I found out that I created the abundance archetype as a way for you to help you see who you really are, like your real genius, your real gold, and the archetypes reflect that. So, for instance, I'm just going to use myself as an example. My archetypes are the alchemist, the creator, and the sage. What I learned from my archetypes, especially from the sage, is that the way I can hold a really large amount of information in my brain and make that into a pattern is my gold. And the same for sitting in front of someone and immediately seeing their gold. That's my gold. That's my genius. That's the thing I'm extraordinarily good at. But because I knew about the gold, but I didn't knew about being able to see the patterns, which is a very autistic thing as well. But so what I did for years, so sorry, everyone, was I told clients, I told them, you just go into 4 different Facebook groups, and then you listen to what they say, and then you see the repeated patterns. And then you connect those, and that is your soul audience. And I couldn't figure out why it was so difficult. And I was like, okay, how many times do I have to go to the group, write down what connects them, what are they doing, and what are the things that they are asking for that you can help them with. And it's like, I see the graph. It's completely clear. But it took me so long to find out that it's really easy to me. It's very, very hard for other people. So I can jump high and low, but the only way to, and I know that now, because of my archetypal insights, is to use people's archetypes and to first let them understand their own archetype, and then get them to really understand the archetypes of their audience. So the majority of my clients is, what are they? Sages, creators, alchemists, innocents, lovers, creators. Oh, rebels. Yeah, and rebels. But I have very few rulers, for instance. And in most normal business groups, it's 100% rulers. And so the thing with rulers is that they know what they do. They have an idea, and then they were born with this archetype, with this entrepreneurial gen and gem also. It's like they know what to do. They have this vision. They're going somewhere. So my guess is actually that the majority of business programs is created for neurotypical rulers. There's nothing wrong with neurotypical rulers, but it doesn't work so well for the rest of the world. So the archetypes help us to see ourselves in the most amazing way, and they really help us to see elements about ourselves that we would completely miss. They help us to understand other people much better. I mean, like last week we had a whole month, or no, we still have. It's actually 7 days of learning about the innocent. I completely understand the power of the innocent, because the innocent is able to make things easy. So it's not just about your archetype, it's about all these archetypes, and understanding these archetypes will help you to also communicate with other people in a much better way. So that is definitely the magic. And then when you take it to a next level, you create your brand with or in the real you just choose a brand based on the archetypes that are most strong in you. And then what we do next is we add all the other things, like our genius, but also our wonderfully weird things, like how our brain works, how our presence, the things that are difficult, the things that are easy to us. So what you do is you create a full persona of yourself, and that is a persona that will always be there for you, and that you can use in everything that you do. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So I am going to the first question that I had, and that says, I am a creator, but I have very strong tendencies in many of the other archetypes, such as sage, everyman. We don't call it everyman, we call it everyone. Oops, everyman. Everyman, hero, magician. We don't use magician, but we use alchemist and explorer. I've studied them quite a bit. I've read the book The Hero and the Outlaw, and I understand the concept of marketing in these character traits. And at some point, it comes down to picking what you think best fits for your brand or the way you speak. So that is the old way. I'm not using that anymore because it doesn't work on the long run, because you choose something that is not in full alignment with who you are. And also, we're changing all the time. In some instances, who I am in live version and who I am in my art are different. And there we go. Or perhaps who I want to be in art. And my guess is that who I want to be in art is at a level of finding your gold, right? Because it's something much deeper. It's like in your in the genius realm. So my question is, how do I successfully marry these blends without confusing your audience or turning your voice into mud? Is it best to select the most dominant trait and just push that? Ooh, no. My art is about revealing what is already there. It's a contrast often between inner and outer self. It's about finding the strength, the beauty, the emotional release, and receiving in life that makes it beautiful and that helps you persevere in difficult times. It's deeply meaningful and expressive. It's about revealing the purpose and life that God has for you and then coming into the power to create it. For me personally, I am a Christian, and so I also have a thread in there that would weave in scriptural truth or an essence or tapping into the Holy Spirit to find these things. Oh, this is, you can do such great things with this. I currently feel like Creator Sage is a good blend, but I could easily tweak the message and see any of the other archetypes fitting. Would love your thoughts. Okay, so what I hear, what I hear is someone who is not fully in alignment with her archetypes because it feels like it's something outside of her instead of something inside of her. So we would do it the other way around. Instead of what do you want your brand to be, we start with who do you want to be? Because especially because we're talking about something really deep and something that she really wants to bring into the world. So my guess is that there is an alchemist there, and there is definitely a creator in there, and something else that will be interesting to find out. And they all play together. And so if she's a Christian, then that part should be there as well. So when we create more like an archetypal web, for instance, everything is there. So because everything is connected. So what she could do is, especially because she's a creator, is creating her archetypal web, which means find her 3 archetypes. I mean, the abundance archetypes, because they're a mix, and then really go all in on what do they mean? How do they reflect you? What do they represent that you cannot see about yourself? And then bring in all the other influences, like if she is being led by God or Jesus or Mary or any religious figure that is important, then that has a power in itself as well. So it's not just the archetypes, it's all the things that come together and that influence you. So what we do in the real you, for instance, is that we create art with it. And Dagmar, I got them here with me, my thingies. And so just to give you an idea, so what we do is that we really look at each of the archetypes, because every archetype is, of course, you got 3 or sometimes 4 archetypes that really reflect you, but each archetype has a lesson for you. And so what I found out was that because you can only do that, find out by doing it, right? If you just read it, it's not working. You really need to create stuff or write with it. So what you find out is that there are lessons in each of the archetypes. So the lesson for the innocent lesson for me was to keep things simple. So the innocent is all about doing things in a very pure way. Go slow. It's all about the being more than about the words. And the interesting thing, oh no, go back to I'll go back to not doing the words, and make things really, really simple. So I had this very complicated, let's build an abundance altar, and ultimately made it something that we could all do in, like, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, and it worked crazy good. So that is why it's so important to really understand these archetypes, because they have so many lessons for us. And so the interesting things about archetypes is that they make us aware of the things that we cannot see ourselves. So they open doors for us. And so they show us things that we cannot see otherwise, that we would completely miss, like completely. And so what happens is, when you start working with the archetypes and you start journaling and really get to know yourself via the abundance archetypes, is that you start seeing things that you would miss. Like, circling back to the innocent, the fact that so many innocent find it hard that they don't have many words, and that they're more about the being and less about the words. So I keep seeing videos and books and what have you from people who said, I wish I'd never had to talk. I like talking, but just let me be. Can we not just not talk? Because we also break a lot of things with words. And by just being with each other, we communicate in a different way. So I keep ideas or concepts that belong with the innocent keep popping up, which is really, really amazing. And so once you fully understand your 3 or 4 archetypes and how they reflect your genius, you can build upon that, and then you create your message out of the quintessence, like the core of your archetypes. And that is so what we do in the next 8 weeks is you just get sentences and you make those sentences your own, and then boom, it's yours. And that is because you start blending your 3 archetypes, and you blend it into a message, and then you blend it into an offer, and then you blend it towards your audience, especially when you know more about who your audience is. And it's not always, by the way, it's not like your audience is exactly the same as you, because I'm not an innocent, and I'm also not a lover, but they're everywhere. So I would have guessed that there would be more rulers, but apparently my energy is not ruler focused. Rulers don't like me. I don't know. That's okay, because maybe because I'm a little bit too like this, and rulers just want to get fast results, and that makes it easier to send your message out into the world, because you only focus on your soul audience and not on everyone. Does that make sense? Okay, so tell me if you got any specific other question about the archetypes before I keep yapping for hours.
As an innocent, and I just had like an event Wednesday where I did a speech. And of course, I wanted to share my message, and I wanted to connect with people. But I felt it really hard afterwards to find the words and to kind of bring them in. So do you have any advice?
For that, yeah. Did you bring the note where you wrote before what you wanted to say?
Yeah. Well, I spoke for like 40 minutes or something. I had a whole speech.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, how did you feel when you were doing your speech?
I felt good, and I guess people were just listening, and they were very quiet. You know, they were listening. And at some point, I asked them to do an exercise where they had to close their eyes, like a small meditation, and most of them did. So I took that as a sign of them listening and paying attention. But I was talking about self-worth, so it's kind of a sensitive subject also. So, but I just, really wanted to connect with them. But then there was these women that came up afterwards and said that they liked my speech, and that there's a woman there, her friend, she wanted to send to me, and then my blah, blah. I didn't. Yeah, it felt like I pushed her away instead of inviting her in. Mm-hmm.
What would you have wished that would happen? After the speech, right?
Yeah, after my speech, there was a fashion show, and then afterwards, people could, come and talk to us and try the clothes and everything. So I really wanted to speak to people then, but only one person kind of was interested, saying she was interested. Yeah, and it's, of course, I have this impatience inside of me also that really wants to help more women with this, and so it's like I put all this energy into this event, and it's that feeling.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a whole, but let's start with the practical stuff here, because so the practical stuff is that you did a 40 minutes speech. I really want you to do this again in front of your camera.
Right.
And you could even ask a couple of people to sort of be there. But if you could also just have like two photos behind your computer or your phone or whatever, and just talk to them.
Yeah.
Because it's still living inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine that, because there probably were a couple of people who were sort of leaning in and they were doing this, and then there are also people who were doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and it's really two things. Sometimes those people are just having a bad day. It very often has nothing to do with you.
No, it was more, I felt that people were listening. It was more afterwards in the direct communication with people.
And you're not someone who has thousands of words inside of you. So what I want to say is, if there is someone who forms some sort of an obstacle, then go look at the person next to the person who is looking like this, and bring all your love towards the people next to the person. Because 9 out of 10 times, the angry person will feel a little bit of the good stuff as well. And then that's an easy way to make everyone feel like they all belong, because that's what you want. You want everyone to feel like they belong. So, no, and then and then your thing is gone. And especially when it's something that is small, then people actually need a little bit of time, right? Some people will immediately close off and some people will really hear it.
Yeah.
So some things that you can do is to afterwards reach out to the people who were there and tell them, hey, I did this again. I made this recording for you. And if this is beneficial to you, let me know and I'll send it to you.
Right.
Because that's something that you and me can do immediately.
Yeah.
And so whenever you deliver something like this, it's even if there are 5 million people there, you just focus all your love and energy on those who are completely aligned with you. Because that will sort
of course.
stream out. No, what's the word? There will be a ripple effect so that more people can feel it. I think we need to normalize telling people I'm not really good at small talk and I would love to talk to you. But maybe we can do this in person or one-on-one.
Right.
And I think my guess is that the people who need that will immediately get it. And it's very empowering to hear someone say, I'm really bad at small talk. And because those are the people who start talking to the dogs, it's like the dogs, yay. and then when people come in, they go like, hello. So it's just share things like, and I know this is difficult, but if you can pull it off, that will be amazing. I am not good at small talk.
Another thing was that I kind of got into over explaining, which is, and that puts people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So give me an example.
Well, in the program I do, of course, people have to be really ready, right, and ready to do it, to kind of fully commit. And I was, trying to explain this to this woman whose friend she was going to. So, I mean, it was kind of too much information too soon. Yeah.
Maybe it was just good enough for her. Maybe she completely got it. Yeah, like that one. How do you know they were put off?
I don't know. it more like a feeling, that I kind of, because I've been excited to do this talk, and then I did it, and then it was over, and I was kind of my energy was so it's kind of hard to focus also.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I cannot read faces. I have no idea what people think. But what I already witnessed at you is that you do this. This is your normal. It probably means that the other person will feel themselves seen or felt or understood because you do this.
Yeah, I'll do it again. Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the simplest thing ever is to just say, I feel I've been sort of sent a huge mountain of words over you. Let me know if you're still there. Do you still get it?
Right.
Is this? It's just. Is it clear? Is there anything else that would help you? It's just like really, really tiny sentences. And the moment you do that, the attention goes from you to her. Oh yeah. Oh, there's so much shame attached to that. It's so we're so afraid that we're too much, that we're taking up too much space, that we talk too much, that we do stuff differently, and very often we don't, or we care too much. Yeah, but I cannot be also sexy and funny. And
Mm-hmm.
we have all these
Yeah.
inside of us, right?
Yes. Yes. I've had tons and tons of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so this is the reason why it's so incredibly important to talk about this.
Yeah.
And because the next time it will happen again and again and again, but it will, the shame and the I don't know what to do stuff will lessen. It will
Yeah.
become more and more easy. And also the fact that you even did that, a 40-minute speech,
Yeah.
that is really amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. And the exciting or the very good thing was that I was excited to do it also. Of course, I was nervous and all that, but also
Yeah.
this excitement and joy of being able to share what was on my heart. Mm.
Yeah. My guess is that you will be in the hearts of several people. And it's always the vulnerable people who open up the energy for the entire group. It's always the first person who says, I'm so overwhelmed. This is so hard for me. It's the first person who breaks down, who sort of paves the way for everybody who is about to break down, but who are not having the guts to do it yet. And so it's the people who are on the stage and who suddenly do something unexpected. No, like there is a gap of silence because they say, "Oh, I completely forgot what I wanted to say." People remember that because it's different.
Yeah.
Or so
Yeah.
you see that's the energy that you leave behind.
Yes. Because also what I was sharing was my own journey, and I had a frying pan I was feeding myself
Yeah,
up with, and then on the other side I had my new self with a big heart, that I see myself so much
yeah.
more with gentleness now, and yeah. So
Were there people in the audience that you don't know, or that you do know, and that you can ask for feedback?
yeah,
Then do that.
yes,
And then just tell them this story. Tell them I really loved doing this, but I need a little bit of feedback. The most, by far, the number one question is, how did I make you feel?
yeah,
That is better than forget brand colors and stuff and perfect photos. How do I make you feel? That's the only thing that matters.
yeah. Because my purpose was to make them feel as power women, because I mean, we do a lot of shit,
Yeah,
hard shit, right?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah. And so this is all about, it really is all about being unapologetically you.
yeah,
With the I don't have words, with the I think I feel I said too much, or you can even use that in your speech. You can say, I always feel that I either say too little or I bury people in words because I try to explain it. Is this something that you recognize?
yeah,
And then those who recognize that will never forget you.
right. Yes, of course. Makes sense.
Oh, I love that. Unmasking the unnecessary masculinity.
Yes.
Dagmar, you need to make a program out of that. That's really good. Bringing the lover home. No, seriously. Love that.
So,
So does it help?
yes, yes,
But
it does.
what were your other archetypes?
I have the alchemist and the sage and the nurturer.
So innocent, alchemist, sage, nurturer.
Yeah.
How do they play together in your How do they feel when they're together? Hold on, I need to write that. Innocent, sage, nurturer, and the
alchemist. I have a sage that likes to distract me.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the alchemist, I guess, is because of what I do. It really resonated with me, all the alchemist. So, but the sage is like, I can collect information all day long if I could do that. But so I guess that I'm getting to know the innocent, and I mean I see how much innocent is in me. So I guess it's I need to make more space for that, for the innocent and the being part, and not the doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing is that both the innocent and the sage are all about a no BS place. So the sage will never send out something without thinking about it. It will always research it. It will always see, okay, what is going to happen? Is it real? Is it true? Does it contain all the wisdom? And the innocent is all about it needs to be pure. So they really go together. And I am curious. So what you could do is if you can see how that works for like a week or so. If you can make the nurturer nurture the innocent. Because for everyone who works with people and who is doing transformational work, the alchemist will always be there because it's just like breathing, right? But I think in your case, the innocent needs a little bit of TLC.
Yeah. Yes.
And the nurturer can take care of the innocent.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Great.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. And Dagmar said saying I choose to instead of I need to. Oh yeah, that's a really good one. With everything I choose to instead of I need to. And Camille, one other thing that you can do is organize regular sessions where you bring people home to themselves.
Yeah.
And it can be really short.
Like, yeah, really short, like a few minutes. Or,
yeah, no. For instance, so
yeah.
it could be like a I don't know, a power come home to yourself something.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the idea of a workshop. I mean, now I have, been exposed to all these women that I could do like a after workshop where then I would know who was interested also.
A couple of years ago, I gave a whole series of weekly, gloriously imperfect art days. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah. How to be silent.
Yes. I'll work on that.
The art of how to be silent.
Yes.
Yeah. Ditch the small talk.
Yeah.
Great. Dagmar, do you have any archetypal questions for me?
I don't have any questions. I can only share something, but I don't really have questions. I think it is really significant because I knew it all. None of that worked, but I remember this feeling of March. Yeah, I'm going to do it, and I know how. I know what I want. I know how to do that. I know the steps, I know everything. I was like overly masculine and confident, this and that. And now after a year, I'm like, look at that. Like none of that worked. I discovered that my desires were actually absolutely different. And now I am enjoying this state of, I don't know what next. And I'm having fun. That's like so in contrast with how I was being last year that I find it absolutely that's super alchemy.
So interesting, right? That you think that you completely know it,
Yeah.
and then
And you know nothing.
yeah,
You need a year to like remove those whatever on your eyes.
yeah. What I see about you is how incredibly comfortable you have become in in this lover energy of ta-da, I love everything, or I'm having fun, I'm creating things. It's so the lover is the one who enters the party and it's like the light is suddenly shining. And I think that that can be really, really challenging for many women,
Oh yeah.
to fully let the light shine.
Yeah, because of the envy. And yeah, I'm recovering from all the bullying from those female groups that I was part of. And
Mm.
now I am entering, for example, this amazing sisterhood where I am just comfortable. Exactly. But no, I got harmed and I learned my lesson. And
Mm.
so I'm grateful for that. And now I'm just, yeah, also, I used to be like that. That's another thing which changed. Now I'm just,
Yeah.
and I embody the change. It's like,
Mm.
wow. And so many little things, like also the clothes. And wow, I'm just speechless. Yeah, and that is the shame business. Wow. Amazing. And also my posts, they have changed. And I realized I've really been ashamed of my innocent, of my lover. Like alchemist, that's good enough, but innocent, not smart enough. Lover, too sensual. It's like no woman would like to be a she friend with you because you have this electric vibe that's like too much, you know. So lots of shame business. And now I have on LinkedIn a series of posts which are the pure innocence. And every time I see that post, I have this inner battle. Oh, I love it.
So what a lover does is connects people. So the lover brings people together because she makes people enthusiastic for something. And because she is okay with being the leader. She's not the ruler leader, but she is
The electricity. It's
yes,
like
yeah,
it's
she's the
so there, but you feel it.
yeah, she's the shining light. And so what you could do is just to check out how it works is give people like tiny snippets of advice where you say, do you sometimes feel that your energy is too bright or too light, or that it makes you stand out too much, something like that. It's like the next time you go to a meeting, see what happens if you unapologetically shine every tiny part of you and beam, and see how that will impact the space around you and the people around you.
It's like I had to send them off to have privacy there. And in that privacy, which my ruler was like making sure I was safe there. So I just let go. And then when I see myself talking, it's just amazing how much of self-acceptance there is.
Mm.
It's just beautiful. And Esther, I remember when I first posted a video, short video of myself in your group, and nobody reacted because I know was invisible. And I like so much has something has changed, like what I didn't need it. There was a process of shedding. And it's just so amazing to accept yourself this way and to have a clear proof. I am watching myself go live and I do not have any critical thought crossing my mind when I'm watching that. That's mwah, that's pure
Amazing.
gold.
Yeah, that's so beautiful.
Really, you embody because you are, yeah. And she was like, wow. And then for the first time, she said, for the first time, I'm telling someone with this ease and comfort my story, she said.
Mm.
And she actually wanted something completely different from me, and we are still in contact, like this kind of sisterly contact. And it's so rewarding. It's so satisfying. And I got this reward because I was completely okay with who I am being right now. And like you said, Esther, I was completely unapologetic about my way of stammering, like my way of being. That's who I am. That's who I am. It's so amazing.
Wonderful.
And I had this amazing experience.
Mm.
Forever grateful, forever.
Wonderful. Okay, so we start with the real 8 weeks next Monday, and I'll send you all an email. But because you need to take the quiz again, because I changed a couple of things. Because I double checked it with my son, and he went all sage on me, and he said, "Well, it's it's either this or that." So I changed a couple of things also because I wanted to make the quiz all about you and not so much about your brand or your business and stuff, because that will come later. But I'll send that out in the weekend so that you can do the quiz again. Thank you for being here. I'll see you all on Monday.
Yes.
See you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Bye.
Doei, doei.